Good morning, my beloved. Good morning. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Pittsburgh. It is Saturday, January 21st of 2024. I am the Reverend Dr. Kadar Walker, and I use the she, her pronouns. I'm honored to serve this beloved community as your minister. And for those with visual disability, I'm a middle-aged, light-skinned, cisgendered female with light brown hair and a growing out pixie cut. I wear glasses, and I'm wearing a brown multicolored sweater with a burgundy stole. And you, my beloved, are all welcome here. If you are here in person in our sanctuary, or if you are in YouTube land, either this morning or at some point in the future, you are all welcome here. We're delighted that you have chosen to be with us. We are Unitarian Universalists, people of many beliefs, many origins and sexualities and genders. We're a multi-faith religious community where all are welcome, diversity is celebrated, questions are expected. We're growing, we're learning, and we are loved. If this is your very first time with us in person, please check in with our welcome desk, which is in the garden lobby here through those doors. We'd love to be in touch with you. And if you are online, please explore our website. Just Google First Unitarian Pittsburgh. And down at the bottom of our main page, you will find a form you can fill out to start getting our newsletter and our pastoral care message. But please email us. Let us know what you're looking for in your faith. We'd love to be in conversation with you. We are an active community, are we not? Oh my goodness, yeah. And I did miss you last week. I did miss you very, very much. And I wanted my note of gratitude is to Stephanie Pulowski. Once again, I have such gratitude for who stepped in to cover for me last Sunday. I called her Saturday morning, and she said, I know why you're calling. We've got you covered, not a problem. And for those who didn't hear, my mother-in-law died early Sunday morning last week, and she was at peace. She was 95 years of gracious living, and I was really blessed to have her in my life, truly blessed. If you or any of you in our beloved family are experiencing financial difficulties and challenges and you need temporary assistance, please, I remind you to please reach out to me via email or a phone call or stop by the office. And we have a small fund to help with kind of emergencies and urgent issues, and please reach out to me. I invite you now to join me in taking a deep breath as we arrive in body and spirit, letting go of whatever it was it took to get here through the cold, to bundle up and to unbundle now, and be present with one another in body and spirit. And wherever you are, watching through YouTube, take a deep breath. We turn to our chalice lighting, the symbol of our faith as Unitarian Universalists. May this flame burn brightly in our hearts. May it give us sustenance and resilience and strength and courage. And may we ask that this flame burn bright enough to break our hearts open, for then we shall truly see the path to justice and collective liberation. Welcome, welcome to you all.
Gray hymnal 170. We are a justice-seeking people. We are a gentle, loving people. We are a gentle, angry people. Please rise in body and spirit and let us sing together. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing justice seeking. We are a justice seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. Gentle, loving. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. You may be seated.
I want to add another verse, Chris. We are fiercely loving people. Yeah, fiercely loving. I want to share a story that's with full credit and appreciation and apologies to Janine Grossmeyer, who wrote this story. And I need 4 volunteers. I wonder if there's anybody of the younger side of life that might. Yeah, come on. Come on down. Yeah. I just need 4 volunteers. Would you hold that up when you need to? Okay. Or anytime. I don't care. Yeah. Anybody else? Come on down. Come on down. Yeah. Would you hold that up whenever you want? Hold it up whenever you want. Okay. Yeah, you're hiding from me. Okay, so then I won't call on you. Yeah, okay. Is that it? Okay. All right. So it was a winter day. Sound familiar? And it was snowing. And it was snow. Oh, here we go. I got my 4th volunteer. Thank you. Thank you, Riley. Excellent. Okay. Just hold them up whenever you want. It was a winter day, and it was snowing. Hold on. Well, I have to get my notes because I have that kind of brain. I have a squirrel in my brain. If anybody sees it pop out. Chickadee in a garden. Okay. And a chickadee was sitting on a maple tree branch. Who's the chickadee here? You got a chickadee. There we go. You have a chickadee. There we go. It's a chickadee. And it was sitting there on a maple tree branch, just enjoying the beauty of the snow and the snowflakes. And along comes a little red cardinal, bright red cardinal. There we go, bright red cardinal. And it perches not too far from the chickadee. And it looks at the chickadee and he says, "What you doing? What you doing?" And the chickadee says, I'm looking at the snowflakes. Oh, says the cardinal. Why are you looking at the snowflakes? Well, the chickadee says, well, each one is really beautiful and unique and really lovely. Oh, says the cardinal. Well, if you asked me, I don't know why you would appreciate that. Frankly, they're cold, and it's cold now. Winter is made for animals with fur, and it picked up its claw and it tucked it under its fur, and he said, as far as I'm concerned, I can't wait till spring. The chickadee just bobbed its head and didn't say anything in response. The cardinal hopped over a little bit closer over to the chickadee and said, what you doing now? What you doing now? And the chickadee said, I'm counting the snowflakes. You're counting the snowflakes, said the cardinal. Why in the sky would you do that? And the chickadee says, because I'm wondering how many snowflakes it will take before this branch bends and breaks. Well, said the cardinal, if you ask me, I think that's just silly. I don't know why anybody would do that. I mean, really, they don't weigh anything at all. And the chickadee said, nothing at all. And the cardinal paused and said, well, almost nothing. They weigh almost nothing, and they all look the same anyway. I think you should go out and find someplace warm to be. And the chickadee didn't say anything at all, just nodding its head, not yes or no, just nodding its head. And the cardinal finally said, well, I'm going to go do something more important. And it flew off into the sky. And the chickadee continued to sit there on the maple tree branch, counting the snowflakes as it hit the branch. It began to turn to dusk, and the snow was continuing to build on the branch, and then it happened. At 10,303 snowflakes, the branch bent and broke. And the chickadee went with it for just a brief second, and then it flew off into the sky with the snow, enjoying the beauty of each snowflake, its uniqueness, and its importance and its beauty in this world. Now, which Unitarian Universalist principle do you think this story was based on? You forgot your principles. You know what's good? You have friends. You have friends who can help remind us, which principle do you think the beauty and uniqueness of every snowflake? Are you a snowflake? Maybe? Are you a snowflake? You are. Brooke's a snowflake. Are you a snowflake? Bob's a snowflake. So which principle? Mary knows. Yeah. Chaz knows. If you know, raise your finger. The first principle. Yeah, the first principle, that we all have inherent worth and dignity. And you can make that, we're all snowflakes. So next time somebody calls you a snowflake, and you know what I'm saying here, don't you? You just be proud. You just be proud, snowflakes, okay? And then one day, that branch will break. Yeah, and we'll fly off into the sky. All right. Do we have class today? We do. We're going to sing them out. Thank you, Chris. All right. Thank you all. And you are welcome to, you want to keep them? You can keep them if you want. That's a chickadee. That's a red cardinal.
Let's sing together. Peace, salam, shalom. 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 Again. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace,
interrupting the regularly scheduled program. My name is Rayanne Olander Murray, and I am a middle-aged woman with white hair wearing a purple top. I'm here to deliver a message from the Board of Trustees about the 2024 budget for First Unitarian Church. On December 20th, 2023, the board met to discuss and approve a budget for 2024. The main issue of discussion was setting a wage increase to reflect the increased cost of living for church staff. In order to maintain a balanced budget, it would have been necessary to increase staff wages by less than the full 2.8% cost of living allowance that reflects the inflation rate in this region, and would therefore have effectively reduced staff wages after inflation. The board carefully weighed the negative message and reduced morale that an effective loss of wages compared to inflation would mean for our staff, as well as the moral issue of whether the church budget should be balanced on the backs of staff, against the negative impact of a budget deficit on First Unitarian Church's short and long-term financial health. After extended discussion, the board approved a budget with a full 2.8% cost of living for staff, resulting in a projected budget deficit of roughly $6,000. With this budget, 2024 will be the second year in a row that First Unitarian Church has run a deficit. We also ran a deficit in 2023. Obviously, it's not sustainable for us to run deficits year after year in order to meet our obligations. Recent history shows that when the church repeatedly runs deficits, eventually there comes a reckoning that involves potentially sudden, unpleasant reductions in staff and church activities. While the board was willing to risk a budget deficit for 2024, it will not be willing to do so indefinitely, and continuing deficits will eventually make some retrenchment necessary. The board resolution to approve the budget with the 2.8% cost of living adjustment included a mandate that we report this information to you now and ask you to help eliminate this deficit for 2024 by increasing your giving. Now, we know that some members of the congregation are living on a very limited personal budget already and cannot afford to give more to the church. We love that you are part of this religious community, and we ask no more of you than you are already able to do. Other members of the congregation have more flexibility in their personal budgets, and we direct this request to you. Indeed, members of the board who are already able to are increasing their giving. Already. Misread that, but if those of you who can afford to would increase your giving by $200, that $6,000 deficit would be quickly erased. If you can only afford to increase your giving by $100, $50, $25, that also helps. Whatever you're able to do is an expression of your vision of what First Unitarian Church can and should be. So this information will go out electronically with information about how to increase your pledge or make an additional gift. I'm sure you could contact any member of the Stewardship Committee. You could contact any member of the Board of Trustees, and of course our Treasurer, Kyle Gracie. So thanks so much for your attention to this.
Good morning. Every month we share our generosity with a designated organization, and the month of January, it's the UU Justice PA, and that information is actually in your order of service, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. UUs are aware of justice issues and are called to speak and to take action that leads to a better commonwealth. The mission statement of UU Justice PA is to pursue justice by voting, advocating, and making just public policies. And we all know the importance of this. So as I was entering church this morning and going down into the Undercroft Gallery, I noticed Becky Studer, and she was putting up an excellent display about UU Justice PA. Thank you, Becky. For those of you who don't know, Becky Studer is instrumental and very knowledgeable about all of the issues related to UU Justice PA, and those of you who are in the business of writing postcards know about that effort as well. And now is the time for us to receive our offering this morning for the health and goodness of our church.
Oh, the king cried, oh, daddy-o, daddy-o, oh, daddy-o, daddy-o, oh, the Hebrew daddy-o, servant of the Lord. Oh, the king cried, oh, daddy-o, daddy-o, oh, daddy-o, daddy-o, oh, the Hebrew daddy-o, servant of the Lord. Daddy-o, 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 oh, but the Hebrew nation, the Hebrew daddy was found. They put him in a lion's den. He stayed there all night long. The king cried, oh, daddy-o, daddy-o, oh, daddy-o, daddy-o, oh, the Hebrew daddy-o, servant of the Lord.
Now the king in his sleep was troubled, and early in the morning he rose to find God had sent his angel down to lock the lion's jaws. Oh, the king cried, oh, daddy-o,
Daddy-o, daddy-o, daddy-o, daddy-o, daddy-o, oh, that Hebrew daddy-o, servant of the Lord. Oh, the king cried, oh, the king cried, daddy-o, 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 daddy-o. That Hebrew daddy-o, servant of the Lord, that servant of the Lord, that servant of the Lord.
Thank you. Thank you. My beloved, we have so many joys in our heart as well as sorrows. We have felt our heart beat faster with a celebration, perhaps, and we have had our hearts broken many times. And you bring these to us, to this community, often silently and quietly holding them. And yet you share them simply by showing up. I invite you at some point, I hope, maybe today, to share your sorrows, to share your joys, because that is how we are connected in this interconnected web of existence. Those are the tender and beautiful threads that hold us together. I invite you into a few moments of silence and meditation or prayer, each in our own way. Oh, Spirit of love, lift our hearts. Lift our hearts and let them break open. Let them break open so we can feel from the depths of our being how connected we are to one another. Let our hearts break open 1,000 times, and then we ask for help to mend them, to heal, to bring the pieces back together, strengthened and emboldened by our community and family and friends. Spirit of the Holy, the God of many names, that God who has been with us throughout the ages, of the holy, the nameless, the beauty of all that is sacred in this world. Let us feel ourselves resilient and strong so we can work toward justice, so we can find that place where liberation happens for all of us. Let us feel those words forming in our hearts and let them spill out into this world. Let us find the effort in our bodies, the energy to action. Let us do so from the depths of our heart, knowing we are connected to one another. We bring our prayers together for the people of Gaza and Israel. May they have the courage to find peace. May Israel finally release its relentless barrage upon Gaza. May Russia release Ukraine. May we all release our anger and violence. May we all act from the joy and the love of life, not from fear, but from love and beauty. Blessed be. Amen. May it be so.
The reading this morning is from the Reverend Kristen Harper, who is a Black UU minister. My inner spirit wrote, I have spent my life watching you, seeing your accomplishments, living the way I think you want me to. I have watched the way you move, the way you talk. I have listened to your story and learned your history. I have sat patiently as you explained your politics, your religion, your philosophy of life. I have walked with you on a journey of faith, waiting for my turn to share, to explain, to lead. Look at me. I am Black, you are white, but I too am beautiful. Look at my face, my hair, my clothes. They may be different, but aren't they worthy of your gaze? Look at my walk, the way my hips sway to the music in my soul, the way my proud neck tilts to the sun. Yes, look at me. Look at my darkness. It contains light and love, rebirth and growth. Look at my pain. Don't turn away. Look at the way you see me. I am human. I have tears and fears. I have laughter and joy. Look at me and walk with me. I, too, am beautiful.
Liberation. I want you to take a moment and imagine liberation. What does that mean to you? Liberation. liberated from something, from liberation to, with. Imagine, give me a hint at the picture. Think about what that means. Because I can tell you that those in the room who identify as Black or African American have a different vision of liberation than those of us who identify as white. They have a different view. Let me ask you also, is your liberation, your view, is it about your liberation? Does it include anybody else? What was your first instinct when you thought about your liberation? Our theme of the month is justice. Justice, but liberation and justice, they swim in the same river. They are in the same river. And without collective liberation, we have no justice. Lila Watson, who is Gangulu woman, which is an Aboriginal tribe from central Queensland, she wrote, "If you have come to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together." There are barriers to liberation, though, we know. There are barriers to collective liberation. And the three that I want to unpack today are shame, connected to guilt and fear. Let's start with a story of shame. 1958, China. Mao Zedong had a vision of collective liberation, and he called it the Great Leap Forward. The goal of collective liberation by transforming his massive country from agrarian to industrial through collective farming, ripping people out of the cities and sending them out. And collective liberation, and that resulted in anywhere, best guess, 40 to 55 million dead from famine and disease. Millions lost their home, their family, their property. We only know pieces of this story because there are courageous historians who are trying to dig it up. It has been oppressed by the Chinese government, and they're defying and life-threatening situation. They are being courageous to name, and naming so that we can all see their pain. And they are countering the powerful, powerful cultural virtue that results in shame. The Chinese government is full of shame, of so many dead. This result from burying of the truth and refusing to name and to see what happened is creating a deep pain, generational trauma. As we heard in last week's sermon that Stephanie read, thank you, that was written by my colleague, Reverend Carl Gregg, we learn about how trauma can live in our bodies. Generational trauma, racial trauma, ethnic trauma. Research has been expanding through this field, through epigenetics. This is an important field that studies how human behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect the way our genes work. And unlike genetic changes, epigenetic changes are reversible, and they do not change our DNA sequencing, but they change how our body reacts to the DNA sequence. Epigenetics, look it up when you get home, please. This research is supporting the understanding that we are living this history of trauma. It is embedded in our lives generation after generation. It's a powerful impact that creates this emotional problems with regulation of how we cope with our emotions and our anger and our fears. It creates emotional turmoil like a pressure cooker because of our shame about our traumas and our pain and our fears and guilts. Now, most of this has been done, the research on individuals, but they're also recognizing it happens in large populations, families, cultures, races. We've passed on not just through our daily living, but through our stories, through our rituals. That turmoil is literally beginning to be embedded in our bodies. Let me strike that. We're beginning to be aware that it's embedded in our bodies. And it results in problems all over the place. Let's give just one example of forgetting to name the pain and the history. I think it's so important to recognize the context of Black spirituals and how often we forget where they really come from. And one of the most treacherous territories is Kumbaya. People, bash Kumbaya as being this touchy-feely. It's about peace, and it's about being nice to each other. No, it's not. No, it's not. Kumbaya, come by God. Come by God is a plea to God to be relieved from the suffering of slavery. I have actually said to a politician who referenced a Kumbaya moment, I said, stop right there. Do not put that story on that song. Until you know why, do not say those words. And then he looked at me. He's like, okay. Later, I told him, the vision of collective liberation must begin with relief of the suffering of that generational impact of pain and trauma, whatever that trauma has been caused by from oppression and marginalization. Yet we have such barriers to recognizing the trauma and the pain. We like to look, we human beings, we like to look, yet we don't truly see. We don't truly see the depth and the breadth and the impact, the crater it creates in our lives. We have a curiosity with pain, sure. We might even look closely at a wound or a crash site, but it's more of an intellectual curiosity. We block our hearts from truly understanding. And it is, I'll give fair credit, somewhat of an evolutionary curiosity because we want to control the cause of that pain so that we don't then become a victim ourselves. It's not a bad reason, but we need to push past that intellectual curiosity and a desire to survive. We need to push past that and see the pain, the bleeding, the debris field of humanity's worst behavior when we dehumanize each other. It's profoundly uncomfortable. We don't want to go there. It's incomprehensible at times. China, 40, 50, 60 million dead. It's terrifying at an existential level, our very existence. It's too big, we say, to take into our consciousness. Too big. But China to this day will not let historians tell the story of the Great Leap Forward. The power of a shame-based culture. Brene Brown, author and professor, social influencer. Shame, she says, shame corrodes the very best of us that perhaps we are capable of change. Shame corrodes the very part of us that believes we are capable of change. Beloved, we as religious people are fully capable of change. If we push past those moments when we feel shame, we are called to strive for change by facing our fears and our white privileges. And I am speaking to my fellow light-skinned, white-identified people. Only by seeing the pain, by honoring it, by respecting it with humility, then we can begin the change. The Holocaust Museum. How many of you been to the Holocaust Museum in DC? Yep, yeah. Powerful moment, powerful existence. Its primary existence is not just so that we don't forget, but it's to name. It's to name it and with a demand to see the 17 or 20 million Jews in Romani and gays and people with disabilities, to see their deaths. Right now, we have to name and see over 25,000 people who have died in Gaza and are dying every moment. Right now in our own country, we have to name and see the decimation of the indigenous people, the disease, the violence, the stolen cultures over 500 years. Right now in our own country, we have to name and see the horror of slavery, the act of stealing somebody's body and demeaning it and degrading it and desanctifying it. There's multiple layers of trauma that's ripped through us through our centuries, including a civil war. Still ripping through us today. Today, in the 20th and 21st century, we've been seeing, and we need to name and see the black rioters that have just had it up to here, no longer able to trust society to take care of them. They're begging to be seen. We have to see the black women who are bone tired of being overlooked and minimized and criticized for being too loud, too quiet, not having healthy boundaries, being too much, too little, and they're tired of being beaten down too many times with our microaggressions. We have to see them and honor. Each trauma, each oppression, each moment of trauma has the potential to go on to the next generation. To those children we just sent off to a classroom who are learning about a world where they want to exist in. Do we pass on the violent waves that are ripping through the fabric of time, or do we give them an alternative that they can truly embrace? Do we tell them how to claim courage out of our shame? Martin Luther King begged the experts back in 1967. He stood before the annual convention of the APA, the American Psychiatrists Association, at their annual convention in Washington, D.C., 1967. He stood before them and he said that the effects of racism are gigantic in extent and they're chaotic in detail, and he was begging them, the social scientists, to pay attention and to play a more active role in the trauma that was being created. He says, Negroes want the social scientists to address the white community and tell it like it is. To expose the brutal reality of segregated life in the American South, he said, yet the social scientist plays little or no role in disclosing the truth. He charged them to expose the brutality of segregated life. If you haven't had a chance yet to see the movie Rustin, please do so. It's on Netflix. Produced by Michelle and Barack Obama. It's the courageous story of the civil rights and the March on Washington. It was produced and directed by African Americans. I'm not going to give any spoilers, I promise. But it is gorgeous. It is courageous, because it is an invitation to see into the complexities of the Black community, even with its own internal conflicts and oppressive acts. It is an act of courage out of shame. And to turn away is to turn away from our beloved Black community. Courage out of shame. They're showing us how to do it. So my beloved Unitarian Universalists, our eighth principle is asking for a commitment to eradicating systems of oppression everywhere. But to do this, we are striving to eradicate future harm for our children and their children with the goal of liberation for all. This is what justice looks like, and that is what we are called to do today for our generation and our children today. Today. Real liberation, Carl Jung said, real liberation comes not from glossing over or repressing painful states of feeling, but only from experiencing them to the full. Carl Jung. from experiencing them to the full. This and it is a call for an act of lamentation. An act of lamentation to let the brutalness of our pain be seen. Once we do, and not as an intellectual construct, we can begin the change. We begin the transformation. Our own naturally empathic hearts begin to feel that touch of compassion, and it becomes a waterfall of healing, a dam breaking open. And we feel those tender places where we are connected and not separated. There are times we will be uncertain. We will not know what to do or say. Then just take a deep breath and be. We don't always have to do something. We can just be and bear witness to one another. So here's the twist with that discomfort. Here's that incredible twist when we're uncomfortable and we breathe and our heart breaks open. And our heart breaks open with the wounds of life, and that's when we see the beauty in the other, the fullness of their humanity. And we are no longer divided by walls of shame and fear. As our heart breaks open, it is a moment that is crucial that we shift back and take the wide-angle lens, that wide-angle lens that sees the effect of the brutality and the wholeness of the person. The wholeness of the person. The actress Taraji P. Henson, in an interview with New York Times, she was asked why she took the role of Shug Avery in The Color Purple, in the new version of The Color Purple. She said, because it was a Black director, and we get to own the narrative this time, we don't wallow in the muck of our trauma, we find joy. We go to church, we dance, we sing, we're vibrant, and I just knew it would look different than the previous version. The whole person. That's what Kristen Harper was asking for in her beautiful, beautiful reading. When she started out saying, yes, I've been watching you. I'm the minority here. I've been forced to watch you all my life. It's time for you to watch me. It's time for you to close your mouth for a little bit. Put your picket sign down just for a little bit and watch me. Look at me. I am Black and you're white and I too am beautiful. Look at my face, my hair, my clothes. They may be different, but aren't they worthy of your gaze? Look at my walk, the way my hips sway to the music, and my soul, the way my proud neck tilts to the sun. Yes, look at me. I have laughter and joy, human with tears and fears. Look at me and walk with me. I too am beautiful. Beautiful people. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. And you have got to believe that, because that was where the healing begins, in the tender places of our heart where our pain sits for too long in our bodies. It is by our wounds that we find our common humanity. It is bonded in tears, comforted in the touch of compassion. Then we can dance together. Then we can sing truly as one people in that river of justice and collective liberation. Then we can swim together in the beauty of life and make repentance, make repairs, make amends, and find reconciliation. That is my vision of collective liberation. May you all be well. Amen. Blessed be, and Ashe. Take a breath. We invite you to rise as you're able, but I want you to understand what you're singing. 149, Lift Every Voice, is often called the Black African American national anthem. You need to know where it came from. It was written as a poem in 1900 by the leader of the NAACP, James Weldon Johnson, and his brother wrote the music. And they wrote it because at that time, our country was shifting from slavery to Jim Crow. They knew the trauma was continuing on. That is what this song is about.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Stormy the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when all unborn had died, yet with a steady beat, does not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path with the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
Standing, I invite you to remain standing as you're able in body and spirit as we extinguish our flame, our chalice. Please join me in our words recited collectively, found in our hearts, as well as our order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go forth into the world, my beloved. Go forth into the world with your eyes wide open. Look and see. Bear witness. Let your hearts be broken so that you too may be healed with your own pain and trauma. Let it be joined with all in our lives. Return again with love and compassion and justice for all. Blessed be.